going on throughout this video, possibly 3 days of trail opening stuff. This is first one, driving up towards the top of Tincup now, look at the snow and see what's happening. So I just saw one of my friends, a guy from town that I know that was coming down, that was up here, and unfortunately there was a vehicle that went off today. This was, what I was nervous about was on Wednesday when I was up here, some people crossed this off-camber snowdrift on a side-by-side and had people hanging on the uphill side, were winching across it, then went down. And obviously Mirror Lake is super full, and we'll show you that later today. But then posted that they got across there and got to the top of Tincup. I saw their tracks, and the biggest fear you have is once people start making tracks, if you don't cut out the road and make it passable for everybody, somebody else drives up there and then has an incident. And apparently this 4Runner, and I don't know these people and I don't know exactly what happened, but drove up to it, got all the way up to the last piece of the snowdrift, decided they couldn't make it, and then tried to back down. And when they were backing down, they dropped a tire off the edge and down the mountain that 4Runner went. So we will assess the scene a little more when we get up here and cut this out so that it's, you won't be able to cross Mirror Lake yet, but at least it'll be safe for people to cross the shelf road up here. So here we are at the first section. It may not look it on camera, but it's too narrow for a vehicle. So unfortunately, that 4Runner down there drove up here, had an issue up here at couldn't get through there, decided to back down, and then went off the side and ended up down there. We got through the first part there, not that big of a deal. Working on the second part up there, and that vehicle went off down here right where we started digging on that, and drove in there, decided it was too narrow, decided to back up, and then ultimately just got too far off and rolled it down. You can see the tracks off the side of that road down here. It's unfortunate that things happen in the backcountry, and none of this stuff is what we would consider safe. You're always taking a risk when you're in the backcountry, and decision making is of utmost importance during those times. So we talked about this at Tomichi last year when a vehicle didn't quite end up like that but went off the side. You need to park and just walk up and see what's ahead of you. Just take 5 minutes, park the vehicle, walk up, see if it's wide enough, see if you can get through, see what the terrain looks like. Have somebody get out, maybe spot you, tell you where your vehicle's at. And then the other side of that is, there's lots of responsibility. We pulled a post down the other day of a side-by-side that crossed the tippy section of snow here, and then posted that they made it to the top of Tincup. And then, people see that and start coming up. And it's a tough situation for us as a volunteer group where Mirror Lake's not crossable at this point, and you'll see that later in the video when we go down there. So we purposely have not opened this pass yet. Could have done it last week, and we were nervous somebody would sink a vehicle over there in the lake and float it out there, and that becomes an environmental issue and bad for motorized users. So leave the pass intact over here, keep users out of trying to make a bad decision over there, and then something happens on this side of the pass too. So if you're going to lay down tracks, it's unfortunate, and I'm not saying it's right, but human behavior is people will follow tracks. And we deal with that on off trail issues all the time. If somebody makes tracks off trail, it's nearly impossible to get people not to follow those tracks. It's just human instinct. They're going to follow the tracks that are in front of them that they see. So when we come up here and we start disturbing this pass, or when we open Hancock here in a couple days, we'll shovel it clear out so it's wide enough for a full-size vehicle. So if somebody comes up here and follows our tracks, they're going to get across. Again, it's always dangerous. Anything could happen at any time out here. But it certainly is a dicey time of the year early in the season when these are just starting to open. You have new users, novice users, people from out of state, on vacation, a number of different things. And, you know, we try to do everything we can to avoid a negative situation. But unfortunately, things like that happen sometimes. So the point of this piece of the video is make good decisions. Just get out, take 5 minutes, walk up the road and look. Take some cool photos while you're doing it. There's nothing that's in a hurry that's worth somebody's life or worth serious injury to not get out and take a look to make a good call. And we're getting close, probably maybe 30 more minutes here or so. Those guys are way up there on that one side. Sean's got his glasses on today, so it must be serious. It's always serious. Kurt is always serious, right, Kurt?
Right.
And Grant is serious. He's a little pissed because we wouldn't let him bring the Mini X up here today and just move this out with equipment. But what fun would that be if we weren't shoveling? So as of today, June 28th, Tincup will be open to the summit and over the top. You will not be able to cross Mirror Lake though, and we'll show you that in a bit. We are just about there. Those guys are just finishing up that side of things. The rest of these vehicles up here, we'll go over the top and see what Mirror Lake looks like. Wasn't that bad today, huh? So we're over the top now. We're gonna head down to Mirror Lake. Probably fly the drone around too and compare the depth of the water in certain places to last year and just see how it looks down here. So we're down here at Mirror. I'll flip the camera around in a second. You can see where the road goes there behind me. It's pretty deep. We'll flew the drone over there and I'll show you the drone footage. Probably close to a foot higher than it was last year on July 9th when we crossed. There's a dead tree on the far side that really works as a good measuring stick. I can show you some pictures from last year where that tree was not underwater, the base of it, and the, you know, road even before that tree was showing. That tree is still in the water right now. And then we'll look at what the high marks were on this side. So if you see it clear out there, I'll overlay some drone footage here too, but the road just, you know, follows here and goes around the bank there. The deepest part's on that corner that you can't see behind that big pine tree there. But, you know, water level's pretty high right now. It's receded a few times. You can see on camera there's some pollen right here that's a line where that water once was. But the high mark is then with this debris that's right here, you know, around the edge. You can see if you're standing here is where the water peaked at this year. Where that is right there, compared to where it is right now, that's easily, it was a foot higher, probably a little bit more. When we crossed last year and that tree over there was out of the water, the base of it, this was about 40 inches deep. And now that that tree's still underwater, the base of it, it's probably closer to 10 to 12 inches higher than that, so 50 inches. And it's probably at least gonna be 10 days or more, maybe 7 to 10 days to where it's back down to the level that we crossed it last year, 40. Then a week after we did it, it was down to like 32, and then a week after that was down into the 20s. So if you get over here to this side, and it's anytime soon, 1st of July, depending on when you're watching this video, I would be very, very careful about trying to cross this. We have, you know, pretty big vehicles. That Toyota's on 43s, and we're not going to try it today because it's just not worth the risk of drowning a vehicle and sinking something out there. So we're going to head back up and over the pass. I mean, but at least the miles are open. You know, if you started on the St. Elmo side, you could drive all the way over Tincup to Mirror and then turn around and go back over. So there's some options for, you know, 4th of July weekend. There's a lot of people in the mountains already. So you could at least put down some miles, and then it'll probably be a couple of weeks before, you know, most typical four-wheel drive vehicles could pass Mirror Lake. So this is the day after we did Tincup. Yesterday was 28th, so this will be June 29th. We're over here with Mile High Jeep Club. I say we because Sean came over to help us. Say hey, Sean. Hopefully we're going to dig some snow. We've been making our way up through the trees, drain a couple big puddles, reinforced a little bit of a water bar, and now we're going to head up above tree line, see what kind of snow we can find. The views on Red Cone are always really good. We're up here close to where that big snowdrift was last year that kept the trail closed a bit longer than they would have liked to, but that's gone. So just hanging out here, stacking up, and then we're gonna push up there to the peak, the distance up there, and start working our way down the other side. So now we're at the top of Webster. This snowdrift is here every year, but I thought I'd come down and take a little bit of video so you can kind of see how big it is. Walking on the road right now, where the road would be. That cornice starts way up there, continues down, and then it gets really steep right here. Very edge of it, right there. Looking over. We're up here on the saddle. It's kind of windy. We're gonna probably go over and check Radical, and then we're gonna head back up and over Red Cone so we can leave the gate open on that side. Rangers came up from the Dillon side. A little bit of snow on the road, but they were able to get their four-wheel drive pickup up through there. So they are gonna go back down and leave the gates open on the Montezuma side. So Red Cone will officially be open for the season. You'll be able to come up the Montezuma side of Webster in there and check things out. Come up to the summit here. We're up about as far as you can get on Radical now. It's pretty big snowdrift here. We've been working a little bit, getting up on top. Mike was trying it right there. This will probably be end of the line for us. So we're heading down from Radical now. There at that big snowdrift. That's usually the part you could drive up to, is that huge drift. We'll head down, and then we're gonna go backwards over Red Cone, so then we can lock the gate open on the 285 side, on the entrance, so people can start using it for the season. So no shoveling today, no snow, you know, not much to speak of, and be good to get this trail open for the season. So we are driving back up Red Cone now. That was the first steep section. We'll flip the camera around. We go up Red Cone Peak the opposite way here in a second. But just remember, early in the season, we have some trouble sometimes because Red Cone from the top there is a one-way down, so we don't end up with people trying to pass or a bad situation. So if you have a machine that you trailer over here and you park it in the Hancock lot and you come over the top and you saw the cornice on Webster, it's not open yet, so you won't be able to get back to your trailer. You have to go out through Montezuma. That usually causes some people some issues. We're just driving over it backwards today so that we can open the gate and swing the sign on the other side.
All the X's. Uh-oh, you gotta flip. Nice.
I've always said it's going to be a good day. We're here staging at the Grizzly lot before 7 a.m. This is day 3 of 3 days in a row. We got Tincup 2 days ago. We're on Red Cone yesterday. We're going to try and get Hancock open today. Everybody's airing down, getting set. See how many of the crew shows up, and we'll go dig some snow. I did see a couple other updates though. A guy in a Jeep did make it all the way to the parking area at Wheeler Lake, so that trail is fully open. Mosquito open to the top from the Leadville side. That's not unusual. And then lots of snow still, big snow fields on the Alma side above the mill. Also not unusual. So Mosquito would be half open. You go to the top on the Leadville side, and yeah, we'll see what happens today. See if we can add another pass to the open list. So I'm coming up here to the corner, the rocky corner here, the edge of the tree line. Snow line's just past that, so we'll go up and see what we need to dig.
I do remember Tincup, and then the dirt bikers.
So there's a couple side-by-side tracks in here.
Are there?
Pretty narrow. We're gonna cut it back like 2 feet. So we dug through that section back there, just flattened another section, and then made a bunch of tracks on the big corner where snowdrift usually hangs. So we're heading to the summit now. We're gonna look and see on the other side, the last snowdrift on the Tomichi side of Hancock. They usually keeps this pass closed from that side, and unfortunately where we've had a lot of off-trail issues in the past several years of people trying to go around that section of snow. So we'll get up here at the summit sign, we'll take a look on the other side and go from there. So we made it down here to the big drift up there in the road, and this is what you don't want. So whoever came over Hancock before us and tried to go over that drift, this is what happens. You end up down here, and if I back up, this is what we've been trying to keep people out of, the wetland down here. And there's another down there. This is where we had those trucks last year that were off trail that drove clear up and around here. I don't know if that's happened this year or not. I'll have to go walk, but this is what we're talking about. So we're going to try and shovel this drift out, so when people come over the top, they stay on the road and they don't get down in here.
We want to go all the way to the ground here or no? That's where
There's a high chance that I'm going to fall. I would take odds on that. Well, I need the 360 camera.
All right, we're heading down Hancock now. We're gonna go take a look at Tomichi, see what we can do over there. I can see snow in the road for sure, and we're gonna have to clean up that landslide issue that we fixed first in 2019. So we'll go over there, take a look at that, see how that wintered, what we need to do, and see how far we can go. And so we're coming down to the intersection at Tomichi. Now remember, I told you that in past videos and posts that the West Alpine tunnel grade is closed from here down into Pitkin because they're doing construction to repair the big palisade that was damaged in 2016. So if you come over Hancock, you will have to either turn around here and go back over Hancock, or you're gonna have to hang a left and go to Tomichi. And if we get Tomichi open, then you could go over Tomichi to White Pine, or you take some other routes back to Pitkin. But as you can see, there is a road closed barrier right there saying you cannot go down that way. It's got the closure order on it too, into the construction zone. First snow on Tomichi, right here below the landslide. So we're gonna have to cut this out, then we'll go around the corner. Are you having fun, Kurt? That's really what I wanna know. Are you having fun yet? Yeah, yeah, see these guys up there are having fun. Okay, so we'll cut this out, we'll go look at the landslide. We got past that first drift, we'll drive through it in a second. This one's not too bad. It looks like somebody's been over here. Had to have been from that side. And then we're gonna clean up the road over the top of the landslide. We can drive over the top, and then we'll continue on up. So we've taken 12 vehicles across now. It looks, really pretty good now. The roadbed has been really well reestablished up here over the top, and it's fairly well packed down too. And we've got that outside edge banked up really high. But I would still say we had some trouble up here last year. If you are a beginning off-roader, or you have a full-size rig bigger than a Jeep, this is really not recommended to go over Hancock over there and then come over Tomichi, or even do it in reverse. This is, it's still a dangerous spot. We come clean it up every year, but there's trouble here every year. So, be smart about it. Get out, walk, look ahead, scout up there, see how the road looks, and have somebody stand on the outside edge. I stood on the outside edge there for most of our crew coming over, and these are a lot of seasoned guys, but it just helps to have somebody standing there so you know where the edge is. So yeah, we're gonna keep pushing. I see some people on the summit up there. We're gonna keep pushing, see if we can come up.
Hadn't done it since.
So we got through that spot. That's the deepest one up here. So we'll walk down, see if we can get everybody else through this snow. There's two tiny little snow fields above where I'm at. They're only in like one track of the road on the uphill side, so we shouldn't have to dig those. And we'll be to the top. And I just saw some people on a side-by-side on the top when we were coming up, so I know the other side is open. So Tomichi Pass will also be open. Everybody's starting to roll out. Top of Tomichi here. Not a bad day, a lot of digging. So 2 passes done today. So I guess that's 4 trails in 3 days. Last 3 days that we've been on, that you've seen in this video. Tincup on the first one, Red Cone second. We got Hancock and Tomichi open. So now you'll be able to do a really big loop. Well, or you can get from Pitkin to St. Elmo. If you do some of these back roads and then come over to Tomichi, Mirror Lake's still high, but once that's receded enough, there'll be a really big loop this summer, probably for side-by-sides because it's a lot of miles in a day. But yeah, there you go.